Be sure to check out my second channel called Rob Explains. There you can check out videos where I explain things outside of comic books. So as we continue my series on comic book concepts, what I want to do here is dip my toe in the waters of a discussion on how to kill the X-Men, with focus on Cyclops, Banshee, Beast, Bishop, Cable, Iceman, Storm, and Kitty Pryde. So in the history of Marvel Comics, the X-Men have died in a multitude of different ways. In Days of Future Past, the Sentinels overran the Earth and killed off the X-Men and the world's heroes in a war of attrition. During Old Man Logan, Wolverine was tricked into killing all the X-Men, and Marvel had a really cool what-if story where Jean Grey, under the influence of the Phoenix Force, annihilated the entirety of the universe. While these are only a handful of instances, on the whole, most stories detailing the X-Men's destruction were either part of a larger story or saw the team destroyed all at one time using overwhelming odds. And so the question becomes this: if you were to engineer a situation that saw the various X-Men being killed, who would go about the best chance of defeating and eventually killing each member of the team? Now, in truth, the answer to this comes in a couple of different forms. In the 1990s, Marvel launched a series called the Onslaught Saga, detailing a scenario where Xavier's frustration with humanity merged with Magneto's hatred of humanity. Onslaught cut a literal swath through the superhero community, eventually requiring the combined forces of the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force, and Apocalypse to defeat him. Where the crippling blow came with the Incredible Hulk, the defeat of Onslaught allowed for Marvel to relaunch the Avengers and the Fantastic Four as part of the Heroes Reborn universe. However, within the X-Men community and its fallout from the event, Charles Xavier initiated a set of protocols detailing how to defeat and kill each X-Man, as well as which mutant among them was best suited for the task. While the protocols themselves were largely isolated to the core members of the team, some of whom we'll talk about in this video and some of whom we'll talk about in others, assuming this video is popular enough, in truth, the entire concept could be extended to the larger mutant superhero community as a whole. That being said, and beginning with Cyclops, as an alpha level mutant, and because his eyes are portals to a dimension that allow that dimension's energy to pass through, and because he had suffered a head injury as a child which activated these powers, Cyclops' abilities are not something he believes he can control. As a result, it would be pointless and fatal for any mutant to attack him head on. At the same time, Cyclops is also the best trained member of the team in hand-to-hand combat, save for Wolverine, meaning he could easily hold his own in a straight-up fight. To this end, the only way to actually defeat and kill Cyclops is to confront him with a being who cannot be touched in any form or fashion, meaning that ideally, Kitty Pryde and her phasing ability could transport Cyclops to the inside of a rock or some solid object, leaving him for dead. Transitioning to Banshee, as a beta-level mutant and because he possesses a sonic scream, the training he's received over his life as well as part of the X-Men have allowed him to use his sonic scream for the purpose of creating a sonic shield around himself, using echolocation to see objects or people invisible to the naked eye, as well as fly and destroy solid matter. This combined with his creativity make Banshee a reasonably credible threat despite not being the most powerful mutant in existence. As a result, the best tactic for defeating and killing Banshee comes in the form of Wolverine due to his training as a ninja during his time with the mystical Japanese organization The Hand, which would allow him to approach Banshee without detection, using his adamantium claws to kill him. Picking up with Beast, as a beta-level mutant and because of his enhanced strength, a close-quarters battle is utter suicide, and that with the exception of a being of equal strength, Beast could easily overpower his foe. However, even a foe of greater strength could also be toppled due to Beast's genius-level intelligence, allowing him to construct devices that would provide him with an edge. As a result, the best way to defeat and kill Beast is to use a wide-angle distance attack, which can be achieved by Cyclops' optic beams. Controlled through his optic visor, Cyclops' beams could immerse Beast in a field of energy, incinerating him entirely despite his agility and strength. Now moving on to Bishop, as an alpha level mutant with the power to absorb all forms of energy of unlimited levels and rechannel those energies, Bishop's mutant powers are his own worst enemy, and that much like a cup of water, if too much liquid is poured inside, the cup will overflow. Likewise, while Bishop can absorb energy, he must also continually discharge that energy. If too much is stored inside of him, it'll overpower his body and he will literally explode. However, because Bishop also hails from a future similar to the Days of Future Past, his time is part of that future's police force provided him with both tactical military training and advanced weaponry capable of taking on a multitude of forces at once. As a result, the best means of defeating and killing Bishop is not just through overpowering odds, but through a form of sustained firepower with overwhelming odds, which will overpower his energy absorption capability and kill him. Now, regarding Cable, as a mutant with the power of telekinesis and telepathy, the process of killing Cable is actually not wildly interesting. Because his infection with the techno-organic virus threatened to transform his cells into machinery, emphasis was placed on training his telekinesis to keep the virus from consuming his body, allowing very little focus on telepathy. As a result, a telepath of sufficient training and skill could enter the mind of Cable, shut down his ability to utilize telekinesis, allowing the techno-organic virus to spread throughout his body, killing him in the process. As a result, the best person suited for this would be someone like Charles Xavier, Jean Grey, Rachel Summers, or someone of equal or higher power. Now, moving on to Iceman, despite being an Omega level mutant, Bobby Drake requires moisture in the atmosphere for his powers to function. As a result, beings capable of producing extreme heat of a level equivalent to Bobby Drake could force him to revert back to his human form, allowing for his death. The problem with this is that because Bobby Drake's powers exist on a planetary level, the only earthly being capable of matching his powers is Johnny Storm, who would set the Earth's atmosphere on fire and annihilate the planet in its entirety. Now, transitioning to Storm, as a potentially Omega-level mutant with the power to control the elements, killing Storm is wildly difficult. Using her abilities to control the elements and being a master hand-to-hand combatant, neither ranged attacks nor close quarters will allow for Storm's defeat and death. Instead, much like Cyclops, an enemy who can make themselves intangible stands the only chance of real success. In addition to this, because Storm served as a surrogate mother to Kitty Pryde, the relationship between the two presents the best opportunity for Storm to let her guard down, allowing Kitty Pryde to phase herself into the body of Storm, mortally wounding her, or else phasing Storm into a solid object, after which Storm would simply just die. Now finally, with Kitty Pryde operating as an alpha level mutant, because she possesses the ability to phase through solid matter, this power is compounded by the fact that she's demonstrated the ability to achieve this feat for months at a time. Because these feats make her impervious to physical harm, the only known means of defeating Kitty Pryde comes in the form of telepathy. However, because she's received training in blocking telepathic probes, only beings of sufficient telepathic power capable of breaking those blocks will succeed, meaning that Psylocke, Day Tripper, Phoenix, or Jean Grey can destroy those blocks, after which Kitty Pryde will revert back to her normal form and could be killed by almost any number of conventional means. With that being said, we're going to bring this video to an end, and I know this is actually going to spark some debate, so I'm curious if you guys think that these mutants can be killed in ways other than what I've listed that do not involve Sentinels or any other particular form that's already been done in comics, then post it down below. I'm kind of curious, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.